it's time to head to the Hinterlands. I start at the Anacortes Marina.
Permission to come aboard?
Absolutely.
My boat trip into the heart of the San Juan Islands on Captain Rock's trusty water taxi costs about $100. And that gets me an unofficial guided tour of the 60 populated islands where the rich and reclusive like to lurk.
Is it weird living in a place where statistically there are so many million and billionaires as this part of the world?
No, we have people that ride the boat that are very prominent, and they're just going back and forth like everybody else, you know.
Who have you got?
People.
Oh, people, right, yeah.
That's helpful. Anyway, to really understand the lay of the islands, I'll need to enter another dimension.
I've had to put my flying helmet on because I'm about to go in this in order to, well, get a bit of perspective. Cabin crew, set doors to manual. Cross-check. Emergency exits over here and over here.
There's about 700 San Juan Islands in total. Many of them disappear at high tide, but there's 176 that are always visible. A scenic flight around the islands costs £50 and gives you a terrific feeling for the higgledy-piggledy geography of this exclusive archipelago.
Well, we're coming into water, I suppose. We're not really landing, we're watering. Well, that's like a smoother landing than you get in a jumbo.
Well, it's a softer surface, right?
Oh, right, yeah. It was awesome. Thank you so much, Richard. That was great. Sorry about the jokes.
The pilot leaves me in the very tidy Shishi Roche Harbour. This is not the rugged wilderness I was expecting. So tomorrow I shall go on the hunt for wildlife. After a night in what I can only describe as a log castle, it's time to find out where they keep the wildness in this luxury wilderness.
Good morning.
I've booked myself a chauffeur and some fancy wheels. After all, a luxury destination demands luxury transport.
Who drives?
You drive.
Really?
Drive on the correct side of the road.
Right, okay.
You can hire one of these scoot cars for £65 a day. Only tourists use them around here, as they're stupid. Lots of fun, but stupid. Before touring the whole of the island, I want to see if I can lay a territorial claim to it, as parts of the area used to be British territory. San Juan Island was sited on a poorly defined border between the USA and Britain, but war broke out in 1859 when an American killed a British pig.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hi there.
What do you do, sir? Nice to see you. Are you going to be raising the Stars and Stripes here, then?
No, we're going to be...
Not the Stars and Stripes, sir. This is the Union Jack.
They raise the Union flag here every summer's day to mark the British occupation during the Pig War. But it wasn't much of a war. In fact, his only casualty was probably eaten.
The garrisons got along famously, didn't they, Jim?
Oh, we had a grand time.
Well, everyone in the world knows that the Americans love their flag, but it's nice to know that they love our flag almost as much. I can't imagine us paying as much attention to the raising of the Union Jack in the UK as they just did here at English Camp in the northwest of the United States of America.
Back in the scoot car, and I'm heading for my first taste of the celebrated San Juan wildlife. And I think it's pick your own.
Do they run fast, the oysters? Are they difficult to catch?
And but it's nap time, so
all right.
They're snoozing right now.
So we can just sneak up on them.
Yeah.
Frank's been farming oysters here at Westcott Bay for over 20 years.
What is your reputation?
We ship to some of the finest restaurants in the world.
Name some.
Well, in New York City, Grand Central Oyster Bar.
I've eaten those oysters.
Old Ebbitt's in Washington, D.C.
In fact, we could probably cut right now to a picture of me eating one of those oysters.
Oh.
So I'm looking around and I see a muddy beach.
Yeah, well, that's where oysters grow, in muddy beaches. This is their natural habitat. But actually, the oysters that we're sending out to restaurants are grown on the lines out here in the bay. So that's really the product that is going to all the fine restaurants.
I see. And people who are less important to you, you just let scrabble around here on the beach.
And they love it.
Yeah, I see. Do you ever get annoyed with them being just sort of, I don't know, spineless?
Actually, I enjoy spineless.
Right.
They're a lot easier to get along with. They don't argue.
You can pick your own oysters here, or just turn up and buy them. Either way, they're good eating. Coming up, I'll be surrendering to the motion of the ocean and getting legless.
You are officially half man, half kayak.
Right.
I'm in the spectacular San Juan Islands in Northwest America, taking a scoot car on a hunt for wild animals in the wilderness. But I wasn't expecting to catch a glimpse of this.
Look at it. You see these incredible eagles.
They're bald eagles, the animal symbols of the USA, living icons. Washington State has got more bald eagles than any other, but still I'm very lucky to see this many at once. The eagles are a bonus, a good sign of how wild this well-developed holiday island still is. It's only a short dash back to Rosh Harbour, my launch pad to see the local sea life, which involves a kind of amputation.
So what do you think?
It's funny doing this process, isn't it? Because you do feel like you just lose your legs. You can't see them anymore.
You are officially half man, half kayak.
Right.
Brian's taking me out to the islands. It costs £50 for a half-day kayaking trip, and excitingly, there's a chance of coming across some killer whales. Why are they called that?
So we've just made our way out of the harbour, and we've seen some lovely, well, lots of millionaires' mansions, some beautiful pink flowers over there, but no wildlife.
And no sign of the orcas so far. You're better off finding them in May or June. Like all fancy resorts, the hottest action here is seasonal.
When whales come to town, it's a bit like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie arrive or something, everyone starts talking about it, everybody knows where they are, right?
Usually, word spreads pretty quickly.
Yeah. We're now heading to one of San Juan Island's most exclusive resorts. In this case, it's a sanctuary devoted to harbour seals who are slowly getting in the water now because they can see us coming. Sort of like a cross between a pig and a fish and a cat.
I think it was Darwin who first said that. There's a great mix of animals right here on the shoreline.
There's a raccoon.
Ready for lunch?
Ready for lunch.
Okay.
That's a question I always answer yes.
After eating, I need some space to work out what I think of the San Juans.
Enjoy it.
I'll go off looking for some wilderness.
Okay.
You know, I reckon this destination is so desirable to the people who come here precisely because its natural resources haven't been overexploited by tourism. After all, the value of these islands is measured much more by their wildness than by money.
On the one hand, you've got the Dungeness crab claw. It's a very good crab here. And then, on the other hand, a piece of clay pigeon, because from one of these exclusive beachside mansions, people have been firing off shotguns.
I've never been anywhere like the San Juans. They're the most civilized wilderness I've come across, genuinely bursting with nature whilst luxuriating in 21st century comforts.
I think we found an ultimate getaway here in the San Juan Islands. Exactly the kind of place you choose to come if you're a Seattle software billionaire and could afford to buy your own island. And a great place to come if you can just afford to rent a small piece of an island for a short amount of time.
You can fly direct to Seattle with British Airways or Northwest Airlines for around £440.
I like the idea of a private island. Didn't you fancy snapping one up?
Well, I did think about buying one, but I was worried if I